I didn't feel anything. I was in so much shock. I think that was the biggest dose of adrenaline I've ever gotten. What I'm about to tell you, I've not told anyone. Yes, including my family and close friends. Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Well, if you're new here, make sure to go smash that subscribe button. And it's story time. So I'll be recalling events as they happened regarding my amputee situation. So as I was walking, if you may pull up the picture of or search the image of the machine and how it works, is that it has this teeth on one side that pull in the fodder, and then it has the slicing, revolving with blades stuff wheel that slices, you know, the fodder and everything. As I tried to, you know, push in, my right arm kind of slid in. The experience felt like, you know, when my hand went through and to the other side of the wheel, the experience of the, you know, blades cutting my fingers, it felt like someone was tapping my fingers, even though really it was cutting off my fingers completely. I remember coming back to my mind after like 5 seconds. I don't know where my mind went at the moment. People still wonder how I managed to switch it off by myself. It was a generator, so it was really noisy. No one could hear you. And when I flicked the switch off, the wheels take time to, you know, it's a rotating, you know, generator stuff. It takes like some like 5 revolutions before it comes to an end. And everything got so quiet. Immediately it got pulled out. I felt like a tap had been opened, because gushing blood everywhere. I remember my brother's look then. He was just so scared. He was scared than I was. I had such rush of adrenaline. I was not feeling anything, but I felt like my veins kind of opened and there was something gushing out of them. Obviously blood. And I remember one of the neighbors tying up my arm to stop the bleeding. My arm kind of felt so heavy. The exact thing I felt. People ask me, I've never, okay, not really, now people don't ask, but about the pain, what I felt, and I'm always like, I didn't feel anything. I was in so much shock. I think that was the biggest dose of adrenaline I've ever gotten, because I was in so much shock, and my mind was halfway in my body and halfway somewhere else. And I looked once. I was looking at my arm at the moment, but you know, I was not really comprehending what was going on. So they tied and rushed me to the hospital. So going back to the first hospital, it was on, as I told you earlier, on 12th December. In Kenya, that is a national holiday, and most workers are not working, including health workers are not completely working during that time. When we went to the hospital, I remember most not being attended to. So I got to the emergency area, and they kind of just bandaged it up, you know, my hanging flesh. My hand was, I think, this huge, because they kept adding bandages to, you know, contain the bleeding. Exactly what I felt at the first hospital was so many questions, like what is happening, how am I gonna, you know, just so many questions at the time. I could not even, I was still in shock. I don't know health experts who say how much adrenaline really remains in your system, but I think I still had some. And there was kind of, I cannot describe it, but there was a moment of calm when I was at the first hospital, and I was laying in bed somewhere waiting to be attended to. Typically nothing had been done, just kept adding bandages, and some of my family members were, you know, around me, and they were shocked. They were actually shocked more than I was. I felt a moment of calm at that moment. Like, I can't explain it, but it felt so calm, and like the world had a soothing kind of calm, you know. and I was almost drifting to sleep. I remember I was almost sleeping. I don't know if that's a good thing, but I was almost kind of sleepy. You know, the soothing kind of, the one you feel before you sleep. Yeah, exactly that one. So after about, I don't know how long, from 3 to, I don't know, it was long, maybe 4 hours. I don't exactly remember. But I was taken to another private hospital, which was some kilometers away from there. And I was feeling really, you know, tired. I went to the theater directly, you know, to have everything sorted out. And that rush, that in time, cost me to spend so much time at that hospital, because my arm got infected, you know, because it was not immediately attended to in the right, you know, hygienic, clinical way. Envisioned 10 years into, how am I gonna live this? And I remember thinking, this is going to be a different turn of events. From now on, life is different. My experience at the second hospital was the most memorable to my life, really, because my arm kind of got infected. And what happened is that it started swelling. It was like huge. My arm was huge, and it turned yellowish, you know, yellowish because of pus and everything. And so they had to do the first, in the first one they tried to, you know, contain it, and when that did not work, they tried to do it again. But now they saw they're gonna leave it that way, because my arm, if it continued like that, they were going to have to cut my whole arm because of that. That was a really dangerous, I remember that experience in relation to that. So my eyes got completely white because of blood and everything, and I got weak and all that. Can't remember my vague self. So, and I got really weak. I was still young. I was still very young, and this was all a shock to me. So the pain that I should have felt at the immediate, you know, beginning during the accident, I think all that pain combined, I felt it at that hospital, because there was no adrenaline anymore, and now I was coming back to my senses. And that's when I started feeling, you know, all the pain. And so, you know how you feel in a wound. Now this was a huge wound, and it was getting infected. So my story, my most terrific experience, is it terrific, terrible, whatever, is when they left the wound open so they could wash it every morning. Oh man, did I dread that. They were going to wash it every morning. So they come with all the cleaning, you know, stuff, and it's an open wound. You envision that, and they would come try to tap on it. That was like the most, I feared that. I felt like I would run out of that place. And then they would bandage it. And the worst thing that happened is that, you know, because of the pus and it's a wound, the bandage would stick onto the wound. And the worst experience was when they were trying to pull out the bandage so they could clean it and put on a clean bandage, because it's still an open wound. Oh man, did I dread that. I would scream, no way. I remember every time I used to wake up at around 1 a.m. at night. I was so weak, so I would wake up in such a huge... Since then, I've never felt such pain in my life. I would wake up in such great pain. And the nurses, I would literally scream, yeah. The nurses had to, you know, inject me with all those. Every night, it was like something that had to happen. Oh man, you gotta appreciate the nurses and all they do. I don't speak mostly of doctors, but nurses, man, gotta give them a thumbs up. Let me talk about my final stages of recovery at the hospital. Okay, so as I was recovering, I was really getting, you know, I don't know what they call it, but I was getting help regarding my bones and everything, whatever you call it, I forgot the name. And they were also helping me out with the bone, which was kind of stiff in a way, and that was not good. And I remember the same person helping me out with that was also helping me out to write with my left hand. and I remember that. So I really have, I tell these things like they are a story basically, and sometimes I sit by myself and think and remember the things that happened, and I'm like, oof, I've really come this far and this really happened. So if you have any comments, if you have any questions, please just leave them in the comments. Obviously, don't fear of anything. I'm actually really okay with answering all those questions and everything, so just leave them in the comments. I'll be doing stories regarding different aspects of my life after losing my arm and everything. This could help someone. This could also help you guys understand me and my perspective of stuff. So just make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you very much. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.
Talk to me.